I remember vowing to that unborn child, that lost child, that I'm going to make something of myself, that I'm going to do what's necessary. I remember having dark moments during those times, but I made it out those times. And peace, everyone. I'm Khalil Gerard, and welcome to the channel if you're new. Here, I love to discuss all things philosophy, psychology, spirituality, finances, and essentially all things personal development. If these are the type of things that you're interested in, please do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and welcome to the family. Today's episode, I want to discuss how to stop wasting your life before it's too late. Now, my childhood, it was a really rough one, right? I was born in a family that was impoverished, dealt with a whole lot of trauma, dealt with a lot of physical abuse, psychological trauma, in and out of foster homes at a very young age, dealt with childhood bullying, dealt with an abusive father. And it was really rough growing up during those days, right? Now, nonetheless, I had a lot of fun times. I was a really smart child. I was funny, loved to crack jokes and have fun. But I dealt with my pain. I dealt with my trauma, right? And just like any child growing up, you have dreams. You have aspirations. You may not know exactly what it is that you want to be if you aren't clear at that point, but you do have some examples of some things that you like to be. In terms of a supportive family, growing up, I didn't have a supportive mother and father, right? And I'm not saying that to disrespect them or anything like that, because they had their own demons that they were dealing with. Grew up in a family of 3 children. I was the middle child, so yeah, I had that middle child syndrome. And man, when I was young, I remember it was one time I had great grades, right? This had to have been like first grade. I remember going to my father excited about my report card, right? And I remember him turning to me and saying, "Khalil, I expect that of you," right? Where a time where I was expecting him to be ecstatic for me, happy for me. I had this huge accomplishment. He turned around and said, "I expect this of you," right? And I get it. You know what I mean? As parents, we would want to expect greatness from our children, right? But to tell a young child that at that time, that may not have been the most positive thing to do, right? When children are young, as much as you can, you want to show enthusiasm and you want to show excitement and give them that reassurance of comfort that you're their hero, you're their cheerleader, right? You're there for them, you're rooting for them, because it could have some adverse effects. And just as the older that I was getting, I was still getting good grades, doing amazing on standardized tests and state tests and nationwide tests and different things like that. Even when I got to high school, I had got a scholarship to college for debating. Unfortunately, by that point, I really wasn't interested in school. My father, he was hit by a car the summer of me going into the 9th grade year. And that was an extremely traumatic situation for not only myself, but my siblings as well. After that, we all were separated and we lived in different places, right? So at that point, as I mentioned, I wasn't really interested in grades or going to school, because at that point I was hustling. I was into getting my money. I loved the ladies, but I was more so about my money and fashion, right? Popularity, being a man. I listened to a lot of Jay-Z back in the day, and it was just about impressing, right? If you're from the city of Detroit, if you know anything about Detroit, we're the home of the hustlers. And if you're not getting money, if you're not dressed in a certain type of way, you getting blazed, you getting roasted, right? You get cracked on. And from a young age, being poor growing up, I used to get teased from my haircuts and the clothes that I would wear and different things like that. So I had to learn how to combat all of that with having jokes for myself. Well, by the time high school came and I was already hustling, getting money, I decided not to play sports, and I decided to just start getting money. But nonetheless, I still went ahead and went on a debate team. A lot of my friends, they were surprised. They didn't even know it. It was something that was secret. In 11th grade, I remember just being in the hallways, roaming around after school, walked into a classroom, seeing some stuff. It looked interesting. I seen the way the students looked at me as if I didn't belong there. My debate team coach came up to me and was like, yeah, you interested in something? I asked her what were they doing. She explained it to me. And the way they looked at me, I decided that I wanted to prove them wrong, right? That I did belong. So joining the debate team, it opened up the world to me. It was the first time I hopped on an airplane. It was the first time I hopped on a train, and I visited different cities and states, right? So moving along, I went to college and it was all partying. I was gambling heavy. I had a huge gambling addiction, had a huge porn addiction, and had a huge sex addiction, right? And I had a lot of insecurities that I never dealt with, right? I didn't have parents that I can go to and discuss these things and get advice from them and different things like that. My brother, he was older than me. He was about 11 months older than me, but we didn't have that type of relationship where I can go to him and get advice. So a lot of things I learned on my own from the streets, a lot of Jay-Z lyrics and a lot of different local Detroit artists that I listened to back then. Shout out to the Cheddar Boys, rest in peace to Blade, Rock Bottom, and the Street Lords, right? But continuing on, I went to college, and my bad studying habits, my habit of not going to class followed me to college. And man, I wasted a lot of time in college, right? I made a lot of connections, but I wasted a lot of money and I wasted a lot of time. Eventually, my scholarships ran out, so I had to start taking loans. And one day I woke up and realized that college just wasn't for me. So I left school to pursue acting. But before then, I made a stop. As I got older and when I was in my mid-20s, well, I would say when I was in my early 20s and mid-20s, I started doing a lot of introspection, right? I started looking at life a little different. YouTube had came out back when I was in college. So there was so much that was available on YouTube, and I just remember going down this conspiracy theory path, right? Start learning about a lot of the things that we are taught, how they aren't right? How reality is stranger than fiction. And I'll get into some of those topics in another discussion, but just know I started looking at religion different, started looking at finances different, government different, and a lot of events that took place in history that we were told one thing. I started looking at those things way differently. Started looking at and analyzing narratives. Now moving forward, I'm getting older and older, and I'm going down these rabbit holes, and I'm starting to drink as I get older. I end up having an alcohol problem, and I started feeling like a failure because those dreams and aspirations that I had at one point, they were getting further and further and further and further away from me, and I was going deeper and deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole. And as you guys know, as the internet started to grow, these different apps. I remember when Twitter first came out, Instagram. When I was in college, that's when Facebook first came out. All of these social media platforms and so much information. We're in the Aquarius age, the age of information. So all these secrets that weren't once available to the public, now they're at your fingertips. And if you're a researcher, you start looking up certain keywords, you find a rabbit hole, you go down that rabbit hole, sometimes you never come back up. And for me, I just kept going deeper and deeper in that rabbit hole, that hustle and that drive that I once had. I started hanging around some people who I met throughout college and fraternity brothers and, mutual acquaintances who would become roommates and just living with one another, right? The people who you hang with, they influence you and you influence them. And the problem with that is if the people that you're around have bad habits, you may pick up those habits and they may pick up some of yours, right? If you may be the type of person who is used to hustling, getting money, have drive, you got these goals, but some of these people may not be that way. They have those goals. Like you start picking that stuff up, you can start looking goofy out here. And that was me. I started looking real goofy out here in this world. I didn't dress the same. people who seen me in high school and college, if they had seen me maybe in like my late 20s, they might have, if they caught me at sometimes, they might have been like, damn, what happened to Lil, right? He used to dress a certain type of way. I'm used to seeing him with money and things like that. But I was just wasting my life, right? I've always been a knowledge and wisdom seeker, and I was always searching and learning all of this stuff, the law of attraction, the universal laws, all of these different things, all of this information I was gaining. I learned so much stuff. But that quote, paralysis of analysis, man, I tell you, I know what that's all about. And some of you guys that's listening to this video, some of you guys may know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you may currently be down one of those rabbit holes, and even some of you may be about to go down that rabbit hole. So I just want to warn you, before you do that, really, 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 really take a look at your life, right? Really, really, really examine where you are in this present moment. Think about where it is that you want to go. Think about what it is that you want to become, and understand that time waits for no one, and time is moving by just like that. I'll be 40 pretty soon, and it amazes me because I know a lot of people, some people think I'm in my 20s, right? Some people think I'm in my 30s. Well, I am in my 30s, but some people think I'm early 30s, late 20s, whatever the fact, however I'm wearing my hair, if I got facial hair or not. It just depends, right? But either way, I'll be 40 pretty soon, and I'm at a good place in my life, and I'm at a place where I'm at peace. However, I am at a place in my life where I do want to help the youth. I do want to help younger brothers and sisters who have aspirations, who have goals, who want to make the most out of their life, who want to become the greatest version of themselves. I want to help them to be able to reach those goals, right? Because when you look around us, there's a lot of people that's not making it to tomorrow. A lot of young brothers and sisters, they're dying very early. A lot of brothers don't even make it to their 20s or 30s, let alone to their 40s. So I know just how blessed I am to be alive this day and age, to be talking to you all right now. And I want you guys to know how blessed you are to be here listening to this video right now, getting this information, or living in a life that you're living right now. And I want you guys to take the time to be grateful, but adjust accordingly. I want you guys to stop wasting your life, stop wasting your time, all of the parties, all of the celebrity gossip, all of the fake friends and family members and things like that. Just take a moment for yourself and get to know yourself. Get to love yourself. If you feel like that you're a victim, if everybody's doing everything to you, stop right now. Stop with the victimhood mentality. And that's not saying that you haven't gone through anything or anything is legit, but what I'm discussing is a mindset. Replace that victimhood mindset with a superior mindset, with a confident mindset, with understanding that you have the power. You have the ability to change the life that you want. You have the ability to change the circle that you're in. You have the ability to change your environment. If you can't do it in a moment, if you can't do it today, you can do it over time. You could play the long game, but live each day as if it may be the last, right? And I don't mean to make irresponsible decisions. I mean to look at it from a legacy standpoint. If you were to leave Earth today, what would be the things that you want to set up to make sure that when you're gone, things are set a certain way? Some of you may have children. Some of you may have aspirations of having children, right? If you're like me, you may have a child, and you may have also experienced the loss of a child, right? Before my baby girl was born, I had lost a child during pregnancy, right? And that was one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing I ever experienced. It. I remember vowing to that unborn child, that lost child, that I'm going to make something of myself, that I'm going to do what's necessary. I remember having dark moments during those times, but I made it out those times. And if you're going through anything like that, you can do the same thing. You can make it out of it, right? Have a why for your life. Have a huge reason for why you want to live this life. If not just for yourself, for others. If you have children, you want to make life as best as possible for them, right? Because when you're gone, you don't want them to inherit debt and pain. You want them to be able to have something, right? Whether it's some property, some capital, some books of knowledge, wisdom, things of value, right? Things that will outlast us, because we all have an expiration date. We're all going to be gone from this place one day. So make your mark. Be legendary. You're worthy of it. You're great. I hope you guys like this video, this message that I have for you. I'm going to start doing more videos like that just to connect with you guys, because we're all in this thing together. If you haven't already, do me a huge favor and go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified anytime I drop a new video. I've been realizing a lot of my latest videos, they haven't been moving. So I want the algorithm to get it going, because I do believe that these messages are important, not just for myself, but for anyone that's watching it. So do me a favor as well. If you feel like this video is much needed to be heard, share this with someone you know. Share this with someone that you love. Because again, we're in this together, right? Again, I'm Khalil Gerard. Next up, watch this video right here. I love you guys. I'll see you over there. You all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day, or enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.